Hello, my name is Dónall Dempsey. I run a monthly writers' performance group with my wife Janice. We also publish books and stuff like that. I'm sitting down for this gig because I've twisted my ankle and I don't want to fall off the stage. But tonight I shall do this gig stickless. And to use the old Ray Poole joke, I told you not to step in the quicksand. Sorry, that's an old Ray Poole one. He taught me that joke, I've never forgotten it. You might all have underneath your bums, or should have underneath your bums, this postcard. I'm going to sit right down and write myself a postcard. Yes, yes. And make believe it came from Ray Poole. This is the BBC 2 years ago for National Poetry Day commissioned me to write a poem. They commissioned everybody in all the counties of England. And you had to write a poem about your county or your town, and you had to pick something in your town that so signified the town that if anybody saw it, they would think, oh yes, Guildford. So of course I picked the Guildford Guildhall clock. It's been ticking along since 1683, and it's a gorgeous piece of machinery, and it's still active today. So the parameters of the BBC thing were that you had to turn it into a person. You had to give it a voice. You had to make it talk. You had to give it a persona. And I thought, whoa, and this played right into my old, I don't know if you're as old as anybody as old as I am, but back in the day when I was a little kid, they used to do essays, and there used to be a day in the life of a penny. And we had to write those when we were about 8 or 9 or something like that. And it would go something like, I am a nice new and shiny penny. I was born in 1922, fell into the gutter in 1932, where I was retrieved by an urchin who loved me dear, and so on and so on. So you just better with that. So this is how this poem came about. I was also going to the diabetic gym. You either get the shot, or go to the gym. I choose the gym. And I used to go to a gym with a lovely man called Bob. And Bob always screamed at me, "Dónall, dear boy." And so I borrowed his voice for the clock. He also used to, after our exercise, he used to smoke a big fat cigar and go, "Down, oh boy." So he became the voice of the Guildford clock. It's called, I'm the Guildford Guildhall clock, I am. Oh, I've been knocking off time now since, let's see, 1683. Minutes and decades flow through me. The everlasting skies above me. I'm iconic, I am, dressed in my black and gold. I, if I may be so bold, am Guildford, the pride of Surrey. I watch the high street as it runs down to that young whippersnapper of a statue, the scholar or whatever. Shoppers congregate about the chap, eat sandwiches, listen to a busk opera, only in Guildford. But it's me they look up to. And is it time for tea? Why, so it is, and citizens clatter over the cobbles. I'm the Guildford Guildhall clock, I am. Tip-top, tick-tock, tick-tock, tip-top, tip-top, tip-top. Thank you. I'm going to continue on now with a poem that isn't mine. This is called Magpies in Picardy, and it's by T.P. Cameron Wilson. Theodore Percival, or Jim, as he was known to his friends. He was killed just as he reached 30 in 1918, and he left a collected poems, a slim little thing yellowing with age, and most of the poems are terrible, a few of the poems are good, and this one is a little beauty. We're going to be at Cranley in November for Remembrance Day, and we've got to pick a poem, First World War poet, and read one of our own as well. So this is called The Magpies in Picardy. The magpies in Picardy are more than I can tell. They flicker down the dusty roads and cast a magic spell on the men who march through Picardy to hell. The blackbird flies with panic, the swallow goes with light, the finches move like ladies, the owl floats by at night, but the great and flashing magpie, he flies as artists might. A magpie in Picardy told me secret things, of the music in white feathers and the sunlight that sings, and dances in deep shadows, he told me with his wings. The hawk is cruel and rigid, he watches from a height. The rook is slow and sombre, the robin loves to fight, but the great and flashing magpie, he flies as lovers might. He told me that in Picardy an age ago or more, while all his fathers still were eggs, these dusty highways bore, brown singing soldiers marching out through Picardy to war. He said that still though chaos works on the ancient plan, and two things have altered not since first the world began, the beauty of the wild green earth and the bravery of man. For the sparrow flies unthinking and quarrels in his flight, the heron trails his legs behind, the robin loves to fight, but the great and flashing magpie, he flies as poets might. Thank you. And I'm going to read you a poem. Let me find it and press it. It's called His Wooden Leg Stares at Him. And it's about Grandfather Gordon. And I was looking after an old man who told me all his memories of the Second World War. And he told me all his memories that his dad told of the First World War. And his dad came back like a ghost. And he came back shell-shocked. He came back minus a leg, minus his mind. And he was always called Grandfather Gordon. Although he was their father, he was called Grandfather Gordon because he looked that ancient. So this is called His Wooden Leg Stares at Me. Grandfather Gordon, always scratching his wooden leg, insists it itches. Always a different explanation how he lost a leg, enough to fill a book. Grandfather Gordon scratching the air where his leg should be. Grandfather Gordon's wooden leg now a Tommy gun, a sword, a unicorn's horn. Give me me leg, you daft wee buggers, begging for his leg back. Grandfather Gordon's gone, his wooden leg lives on, dusty in the corner. This is my book called The Smell of Purple, as you can see. It was launched 4 years ago in New Delhi, of all places. Thank you, Sham. I'll read you the title poem. Smell of Purple. She says she can smell yellow. She says she can smell blue, despite not being able to spell either colour. Yellow smells the same as blue, like a wet kitty drying by the fire. Red smells like Mammy when she kisses. Her kisses smell different when she kisses you. Then she smells like flames with little orange tips. Purple is my favourite smell. It smells just like a magic spell. I kiss her goodnight like lilac, only lighter, with little flecks of purple scattered here and there. Thank you. The great Sibelius, the Finlandia composer, he also suffered or had the lovely thing of having synesthesia. And he was having a new stove put into his shack. And they asked him, what colour do you want it, Mr. Sibelius? And he said, oh, F minor, F minor. Because F minor, as you know, is green. There you go. We were a very naked family. We went around the nude, mum, dad, little daughter. Thought nothing of it. And at night, Tilly would come to her bed, at night, early morning, Tilly would come to her bed and jump upon us. We were just a landscape of female and male flesh. And she would jump on top of us and step on inappropriate body parts of the male and female, which hurt greatly, whether you're male or female. We'd go into a cocktail party, darling, and we'd come home very much the worse for weather. 4 o'clock, Tilly's not going to pay any attention to that, and she's going to come in and blindfold us. So this is called, oh, I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. I wake, covered in glorious glitter, smelling strongly of PVA glue, sticking to my cheek, very hung over, and covered in blue-orange, yellow-red feathers. A bubble recently blown perched upon my nose, I still half comatose. Tiny bubbles travel amongst my curls, as through a bigger bubble brightly, nestling neatly over my right eye. I observe my tiny daughter purse her lips and kiss more bubbles into being. Tilly! I force my lips, still frozen in sleep, to somehow speak. What do you do? See, even my syntax and sentence structure in this shot. She smiles sweetly, I'm pitying you. Beware of little girls who go to preschool. One of the things she used to love doing was watching me shaving. This is called Mr. Daddy's Soft Soft. Always her fascination with me shaving. This, her early morning ritual, observing each action as if it were holy. I hide my face in foam. Santa Claus, she chants. Winces with delight as the razor, she gulps, goes over my bump without, gasp, taking it off. The shaving uncovers the me she knows. Soft, soft, Mr. Daddy, soft, soft, she gurgles in a lather of laughter. Me now, she pleads with me. I take the brush, coat her reflection with foam. I shave her with the tip of my little finger. Her reflection sniggers, and she sniggers too. Later in the early evening, she appears, bearded in fresh cream. She shaves herself with a lollipop stick. Me, Daddy now, see? I cha-cha-cha her on the tips of my toes as she clings to my fingertips. The living room dances around us. One delighted, half-shaved little girl. One delighted, soft, soft Mr. Daddy. This is my present book, which just came out last year. It was supposed to be a funny look back. Or 2 years ago, I hit 60. And I thought, I'll write a book about my childhood, looking back at the 60-year-old man when he was 7, when he was 17, when he was 23. My dad died, my younger brother died, and it became a book about death, I'm afraid. But the title poem is called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. You can see by the look of me that I'm not that bright. I'm not the brightest poet in the box. Ray Poole is the brightest poet in the box. And when I was young, very young, I had no grasp of knowledge of basic birds and bees, all that sort of stuff. And I didn't know where babies came from or how they were made or anything. But Jan is filling me in on this now. What I had was an emotional knowledge. So I thought that a chap could have 3 mammies. And I had my own lovely mother, of course, Rita Dempsey. I had Mrs. Liz Sweeney up the road, and I had my Aunt Mary down in Cork. And my definition of a mammy was an emotional definition. It was anybody that loved you to that nth degree of loving. And even by that, my dad was the best mammy that I ever had. So my mother had to take me aside and say, you know, Mrs. Sweeney isn't your mammy. And I was going, what? So that's why the book is called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. Mrs. Sweeney was Jerry Sweeney's mammy. You're kidding me. And even though I had my own, I had her on loan. It was like having a spare mammy. And even when she was mad with us, she just couldn't be mad with us. Go on, she'd grin. Go on. You'd wear the heart out of a stone. And if you fell, and you were crying, heart and knee, badly grazed, or badly bitten by a bee, she would hug you up with all of herself. Come here to me, you poor little dote. Wrap you up in so much love that would last for years. For years. Jerry Sweeney was my best friend ever. Way back in the way back then. Still is, nothing's changed. Except those young fellas have become old fellas, who still think they're young fellas. And every time I see him, I could almost cry. I can still see his mammy smiling out of his eyes. Thank you. And this is called Now He Is 60. And this was going to be the kernel of the book. I was a teacher, supply teacher, and I came in and there was no work set for me. Happens a lot. You have to wing it. Or you ask them, okay guys, what did you do last week? And they're all as silent as you. Nobody wants to tell me what they did last week, because then I'll make them do more of what they did last week, or even newer stuff. But there's always one at the back of the class, and he put up his hand and said, please sir, we did the spinach armada. And I said, the spinach armada? He said, yes. I said, right. So the next day I brought in many, many packets of spinach, and we bombarded it with Seville, the best Seville. So I thought I'd get off with that quickly, and I said, what did you do before that? Again, absolute quiet from the class. And then when the hand goes up in the back, please sir, enough cleavage. And I thought, I better leave that. And I went into year 8, and it didn't stop. And year 8, we're all talking in pirate accents to me. And we're miles, from sea of National Pirate Day. They're just doing it to put a spoke in my wheel. So to put a spoke in there, putting a spoke in my wheel, I turned to the blackboard, and I said, "Oh, the sails on the good ship I bought from Surrey, but some of the sails on the other 2 ships." And I thought, yes, sir. And then it goes into this. Now he is 60. A year 8 child inquires how old I be. I be just 60. He gasps, "My God, you're very active for 60. 60 for him is a distant planet in a galaxy far, far from here. Yea, another dimension. I smile my 60-year-old smile, perfected now. I am starlight that will only reach him when he is himself 60, if he ever remembers what he has long ago forgotten." One that April with his sure soda, the dracht of March and persa to the rota, and bad every vine in switch cool, of which for 2, on Jaldred is the floor. So beginneth the tale of Camilleri. I'm going to read you one that I just wrote the other day. It's called Me All Right. It's my little daughter, Tilly, again. She watches as I write, the soft wheeze of lead leaving words in its wake, like seagulls following the trail of a ship, clambering after the refuse of the mind. Soon the page is littered with words. They crawl across the page in their best HB. It pleases her to see the graphite leave these tracings of me upon beyond the white. She looks at the journey of my hand as if writing were a magic rite. She asks if she can draw. Sure, I say, and the word cease. I just put the tittle on a small I&J. The words splashed across the page like puddles of thought drying in the sun. I hand her the pencil. She shakes it, and shakes it, and shakes it. What's that for? I dare to ask. The pencil is too full of words. I want a pencil full of lines. I see, I say, even though I don't really. Well, it seems to work for her. Nothing comes out but line after line. She lost in the little planet of her intense concentration. She throws in the odd curve and a wonky circle every now and then. The lines look confused, not too sure just what they're doing on this scrap of paper. I ask her what the lines mean. The lines are you, of course. See? I see, I say, although I don't really. But indeed, in this drawing, I am very much as she sees me. The page never lies. Those are scribbles that were once my eyes. I have, as it happens, eyes 5, stuck on the side of my head, what appears to be a head. And yes, only one leg, with 7 toes. An abstract alien bird father. It takes pride of place, sellotape to the fridge. Yep, that's me, all right. And she couldn't get her D's right. So whenever she wrote, "to my daddy," she wrote, "to my daddy." So I became a babby. How are we doing for time, Dan?
I think you've got time for more.
I'm on. Right, this is a very short one. I'll retrieve my stick. It's called New Dog, Old Tricks. It was my daughter's 3rd year of being herself, and we had 40 of her little peers, much too many of them, over to celebrate this fact. And I got her a little Yorkie, which she adored. And I went out to get more jelly, blue jelly, yellow jelly, blue jelly, you name it. What colour do you like, Ray? Orange jelly?
Mauve.
Oh, mauve jelly. I was just working on that. I didn't know Ray at the time. I'll get you mauve jelly later. Come over and see me with that mauve jelly. And when I went down to the kitchen and I came back, the room was in uproar and there was this amazing noise, and I thought something terrible had happened. And I thought, I'm going to have to go in there and see what's happening. And I went in, and just as I reached for the handle of the door, the sound stopped, just like a cicada. And now I was more worried by the silence. And as I reached to turn the handle, the door opened, hit me in the face, and 40 little girls stampeded all over. And they basically said this little poem. It's called New Dog, Old Tricks. The dog is in the loo! We was teaching him to pee! He just fell in. Thank you!